successes, failures, and lessons. But the one thing that's always kept me coming back were the great friendships I had made for each of my first 4 years at camp. My first year was filled with memories of crying for my parents before dance night and vomiting in the infirmary for an entire day. But it also introduced me to the two best friends I've ever met, Jamie Temple and Andy Ludwig. I vividly remember them both, showing me the ins and outs of camp and accepting me as one of their own. So it was no surprise that the next year I decided to come back for 4 weeks instead of 2 weeks. The only problem was that the friends that had made camp so special for me last year were all in cabin 5. While I stayed in cabin 3 with a dysfunctional group of campers who respected almost nothing about each other. That may have been the worst year at camp of my 6 years. And I'm honestly not sure why I even considered coming back the next year. Maybe it was the illusion that I would get to be in a cabin with Jamie and Andy again. Maybe it was just me wanting to continue what I had started 2 years ago. Or maybe I was just really sick of my parents. Either way, I took the bus, desperately hoping to be reunited with my allies from 2 years ago and secretly dreading another year. Luckily, I was placed in cabin 5 with Jamie, Andy, AJ, and some new kid named Nick Gamsley. Needless to say, that was one of the best years I've ever had at camp. And all seemed as it should be in 2014. I was going to ride with Jamie and Andy from cabin 5 all the way to the glory days in cabin 6. And we were going to ride off into the Bass Lake sunset as a grand trio of best friends. But the only thing guaranteed the next year was that there's nothing that was guaranteed the next year, actually. 2015 was my first year staying second half, and I quickly realized that Jamie and Andy were in different tripper groups than I was, and that they were closer to the rest of their group in 6, as well as their female counterparts, I might add. That summer felt terrible. As I watched Jamie and Andy leave for the Osabu, I was devastated, and for a long time I thought it might be just like my second year at 3. So I knew that if I ever wanted Jamie and Andy and I to remain as close as we were the last year, I had to be on Spanish. I heard stories of Chipper, of the Emerald, and of never-ending rain, and I must admit, at first, it scared the living Jesus out of me. But one Sunday at Vespers, I gained up the courage, thanks to Jack Temple, and I asked to go on to Spanish, and 2.5 weeks later, I was finally part of the band of brothers. Our canoe group would then go on to travel the Missinaibi, the Groundhog, the Matagami, and the Moose River together, with Jamie, Andy, and I growing closer and closer after each trip. And I can honestly say that my experiences with Jamie and Andy have not only made me a better tripper, but a better person and a better man. You see, nothing at this camp is ever guaranteed to work out. True. Whether on a canoe trip or in the cabin, I know. I have experienced hell in every sense of the world. I'm really only here because of the bond I share with Jamie and Andy. And that's why I keep coming back. And I would do anything and everything to have you guys by my side. So I guess this speech really is more of a thank you to all the people who made my life better just by being in it. Thank you to AJ and to Max for pushing me to believe in myself. Thank you, Aaron, Ryan, and Jimmy, and Jack Temple for accepting me into your group, taking me under your wing. Thank you to Chipper for making the Spanish and the Missinaibi the most special moments of my life. Thank you, Cassie, Andrea, Jillian, and Emily for being the dopest, wackiest, and strongest group of women I've ever met. Thank you, Sean and Mena, for one last ride and for inspiring me on how to be a positive and strong man. Thank you, Will Barnwell, for teaching me what it means to be a Voyager. And most of all, thank you to Jamie and Andy for being the best friends that I could ever ask for. I would be nothing without you guys. Thank you.